should start from new beginnings. Yeah, yeah. These scars on me are badges of my journey.
Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dosberg. Please apologize for my raspy voice. I don't know what's going on. I look fine. Hi. I feel fine. I don't know what's going on with my voice. But good afternoon and welcome. We are here and we're super excited about being here. But before I jump into today's show, I just want to take a minute to dedicate this show to my friend Kevin Donovan. We had an opportunity to say goodbye yesterday to his memory, his legacy. We celebrated his life. We want to thank his wife and sons and family for extending the invitation to all of us in the house community. Quite a few of us were able to come through and pay our respects and just celebrate the life of Kevin Donovan. So today's show is in honor of him. So thank you for that. And I got a little picture of Kevin for some of y'all that don't know him. But yeah, so he was a great guy, good friend of mine. A little background about Kevin. One of when I first came in on the scene here in Atlanta and birthed Real Chicks Rock, Kevin put me through a very intense background screening, if you will. He wanted to make sure that I was legitimate and I wasn't a person that was just going to come through and wreak havoc and take people's money and play on people's emotions for charity in the sake of giving back. And so once he found out that I was good and I was cool, he helped me get my first event space for my very first event. And that was back in 2013. It's been a long time. And it was at the Lava Lounge in downtown Atlanta. And it was a success. And ever since then, we've been on our way. So again, I tip my hat. May you rest in peace, Kevin. We'll miss you. We love you always. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. So for the new listeners, we thank you for checking us out. Let me give you a little background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. We're all about the empowerment of women, and we do it through various different ways and vehicles and platforms. We do it through community service. We do it through mentoring and public speaking, and we do it through this platform, which is the arts. And I love this. I love this because we get an opportunity to have these discussions and conversations with very insightful and subject matter experts, as I like to consider them, here today to talk about various different things. Today's topic is the real estate game. Yes, and for a lot of people that live here in Atlanta, you guys have noticed the landscape has changed tremendously. Things that used to be a parking lot or a vacant space is high-rise buildings, offices. It's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And so with me today, I have two people that I feel are very seasoned, knowledgeable professionals in the real estate market. And so today we're going to ask some questions and have some discussions and just try to be transparent so we can understand what's really going on in Atlanta, just really in the country in general, and how can we try to capitalize on some of these opportunities and things that are going on. So without further ado, my guest today, yes, I have to my right the beautiful and lovely Donna Hogan.
Yeah.
He's clapping. Yeah. And to my left, I have Carl Agard. Carl?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Now, Carl was here before when we talked about financial management because you are the money expert, are you not?
Yeah, but I called in that time from Brooklyn, so I'm here in the flesh. I love the setup. I love it.
And he's ready to go. Donna, this is the first time you've been here, but
it's my first.
she's a supporter of Real Chicks Rock, so it was way overdue in having her here so we could talk. So I'm going to start ladies first. Donna, please share with the people a little bit about yourself, a little background and what you do and all that cool stuff.
Okay. Well, I am originally from Philadelphia. I grew up as a little girl, and I stayed there till about maybe 20.
Okay.
And I decided at that early age that I wanted something different, a little bit more advanced, out of the box thinking.
Okay.
And then I moved to New York.
Okay. That's
So
the
I stayed
city.
in New York for about 20 years.
Okay.
And decided, you know what, again, I worked on Wall Street. 9/11 survivor, and being in corporate America for so many years and going through that devastating experience.
Yeah.
5 years later, I just decided I didn't want to stay there anymore because at that time, in 2005, they still had us going through the evacuation practice.
Really?
There was still the conveyor belts as if we were at the airport.
Really?
Putting our bags through, going into the office, and just random evacuation.
Right,
and
right.
I just didn't want to do that anymore, so I decided in 2005 I was going to move to Atlanta.
Why Atlanta?
Cosmopolitan.
Okay.
I still had the feel of a mixture between Philly and
Okay,
New York.
okay.
And I didn't want to be in an area where I was plucking chickens and cows.
Right.
But I just felt like it was a good fit.
Okay, all right. So, Carl, tell the people, who are you? Where you from? What you doing?
Brooklyn, New York, born and raised.
Can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Yeah. Brooklyn,
stand him
New
with the
York.
Brooklyn.
Shout out to everyone out here, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They had the Biggie Smalls tribute. You'd have loved it too.
Yeah, I would
last
have.
week
I
in
would
New
have.
York. It was good. But I moved here in 2001, right before 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a different change.
Okay.
You know, I used to visit down here during the Freaknik days, and a lot of people from New York would come down here in the 90s and never come back.
Yeah, that
So I wonder,
happened.
what's going on down here?
Right.
Yeah, that happened to me.
Go to Leonard Small and bumping into the guys I ain't seen in years. They changed their lives.
Right.
So everybody was like, hey, if you got a New York license, they give you one in Georgia.
Yeah.
They should have told me that.
Yeah.
So they reciprocated my license, moved down in 01, opened up an office in Buckhead. Then after 9/11, so crazy how things define moments in life.
Right.
Everybody started leaving New York.
Yeah.
You know, they, like you said, Donna, they, just say, hey, we don't know what's going on out here no more. We want to look at something different.
Correct.
Atlanta was the place to be. It was positive. You're seeing our people doing things that you don't see nowhere else. The energy was good. So a lot of people moved down to Atlanta. I was in the foresight in terms of relocating people from New York to Atlanta. I started building houses out here, Jonesboro, Riverdale, and Union City. Also built houses in Charlotte, St. Louis, rehab brownstones. So, that's a little bit so far. We're getting to more of it as it goes along. But that's how I ended up here.
You came in popping.
Yeah.
You came in popping. All right. So when you were doing that, when you were building the houses, or at least selling the houses, the landscape was tremendously different, correct?
Oh, yeah.
What was the average credit score or interest rate, better yet? The interest rate for houses at that time was what, Carl?
Okay, so about 2001 to about 2008, the rates was down to about 4%.
Right, okay.
And, there was mortgages like this and that, real easy to get.
Okay.
As long as someone had a 620 above credit score, you could get a home.
Okay.
And even without a lot of money, you could get like an 80-20 loan or 100% financing. But that's what also caused a lot of the problems was because people didn't have the reserves.
Right.
So if anything went wrong, they didn't have any money to bail themselves out.
Right.
So now the change is at a little bit higher credit score. They want to look at your income more. And then also they want to make sure you got reserves in the bank.
Yeah, it was a different time then.
It was a very different time, and everybody was getting houses back then
Yeah.
in 2004, 2005.
Right.
Everyone's moving down here.
Yeah.
And that's when the bubble started happening because they was totally overpricing the houses. Appraisers going out there and valuing houses that really did not
equate.
meet that,
Right.
that value.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we're here at a crash.
Okay. Carl, were you always into real estate from you were young, graduating from Syracuse? When did that happen for you?
No, when I got out of Syracuse, I always wanted to own my own business.
Right.
I didn't know what.
Okay.
So basically, I was doing like party promotions, networking parties, stuff like that. So I lived in a loft in Manhattan, and we got kicked out. We got another loft in Manhattan, got kicked out. We got one in Brooklyn, it got robbed.
Oh, wow.
So
Dang,
the landlord
that's
was
that
just
Brooklyn
like,
life. You see, that's how I mess with Brooklyn.
Thank
You see
God.
where I'm going?
Thank God we
I'm
wasn't
messing with
there.
y'all in Brooklyn, man. I'm
we
not doing that.
rented out to some promoters and they got robbed.
See, I'm not doing that. Man, thugs in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yo, I can't with y'all with that.
They took the speakers and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
So with all the movements, we all decided, me and my friends, was like, you know what, we got to own our own place so we don't get kicked out no more. So we bought a brownstone with the intentions of making a lounge downstairs and live upstairs.
Okay.
Which at the time, no one heard of that before.
Right.
Now
Okay.
everyone does it now.
Yeah.
Right.
So we bought a brownstone, converted it. In the midst of it, someone bought it off of us for $50,000 profit.
Okay.
So after that, we were hooked. We're like, man,
The
$50,000 in
fever's
3
in you.
months?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so one of my friends went to law school, became a real estate lawyer.
Right.
I went to Mega Evers
Okay.
and got a license like this, a real estate agent's license. And then we ran across older Jewish guy that was retiring. He gave us 5 houses, no money down. He's like, hey, take these houses. I'm going back to Israel. Do what you got to do with it. So we got these houses, and they were, believe it or not, in Brooklyn, $110,000 a piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the next year they doubled to $200,000 in
Right,
value.
right.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
I got laid off my job. I was working sales at HMO. They gave me $50,000 to leave. I took that gladly. Had my equity in my houses, and I just started my business.
Right, right.
So you've been in business in the real estate market for how long?
20 years.
Man,
Started 96.
Nice. Been very lucrative for you. Donna.
And I'm on the opposite side of that. Entrepreneur world wasn't even a thought in my head. I wasn't really surrounded by different people who kind of taught me that that's an option.
Right.
So, you know, we're taught as you're young, you go to school,
Yeah.
you get a good job, you
Yeah.
go up the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
I started at that time it was called Solomon Smith Barney, and then it merged, and
know 'em.
now it's
Wow.
now Citigroup.
Yeah.
So between their mergers, I went from a secretary to vice president.
Nice.
And so the reason my entrepreneurial clock started ticking was because of 9/11.
Yeah.
I knew when I decided to come to Atlanta that I was kind of phasing out of corporate.
Okay.
But I had to figure out how to do that because my entire life was corporate, right?
Right.
And so we had a colleague at SunTrust Bank who often came to New York, and my mentor slash superior boss said, Donna Hogan's moving to the South. And so this guy said, David is his name. He says, what? A city girl, Donna Hogan's going to the South? And they flew me down. They offered me 2 positions, and I took the one in debt capital markets as a compliance officer. And I gave them 17 months, and I resigned.
Really?
I got settled. I had closed on my house, bought a car, and started a new job all in 1 week.
Oh.
And so I just needed time to get myself settled. I'd never done sales before. So it was a very scary kind of, how do you do this? But I figured if you go from being a secretary to vice president, you had to pretty much use some sales in the
Right,
corporate arena
right.
of who you are and your
Right.
skill set.
Right.
And so I gave them my resume 17 months later. My boss said, do you not know the real estate market crashed? And I said, I do. He said, I'll let you hold your resignation letter over the weekend, come back on Monday and let me know what you decide.
Wow.
I came back on Monday and I moved forward. I gave him 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, Donna, you just had a yearning to do your own thing all this time.
Yeah, I thought that there was something I wanted to do, but wasn't quite sure what that would be. I never thought it would be sales, but I know I'm good in corporate. I know I can take a thought, a task, and execute it flawlessly, right? And all the things that you have to learn through your promotions takes a lot of time. So once I made that decision, I was out there going like, okay, now what do I do? So I think the caveat for me is I always believed in coaching. So you hire the best.
Okay.
And so those were the ones that kind of said, okay, how do you go from, and it started in New York, how do you go from leaving one city to another city? So there was a whole transition of coaching for that.
Right.
Then once you're in corporate and you're here, you're settled, then how do you go from being a corporate person to transition to being an entrepreneur? Again, that required another coach. So it's definitely, you may have the skill, like the artists say, you may know how to sing, and you may have all the people that can get you where you want to go, but there's still coaching involved.
So did you hire coaches?
Look at Carl
Oh, of
taking over. You
course.
see Carl doing my
I
job?
have to say,
Carl doing my job. I'm
he's
just gonna
asking
say
me-
that. You see
Oh,
Carl doing my
absolutely.
job? You see that? I'm just going to
Hey,
say
I have my own radio show years ago, so I jumped back in.
Okay, little big C. I'll just say
Yeah.
it.
Go ahead. That real chick rocks to her thing, right?
Go ahead, Carl.
But this is very important because a lot of our people don't believe in coaching.
Yeah.
Right.
And for some reason, we listen to the wrong people.
Of
Correct.
course.
I always
Because the wrong people are accessible free.
Right.
We're not
right.
willing to
like,
pay.
What used to amaze me showing people houses, investment properties. They like, oh, my crackhead uncle said this is the best house I should buy. I was like, why are you listening to these people? But I always believe that coaching is important.
Right.
And I never really hear people say that you had coaches and you had 2 different coaches.
Yeah.
One for the transition
Oh, yeah.
Don't play
and
with
one
Donna.
for
Well, they're completely different people.
Yeah, don't play.
entrepreneur. corporate to entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
person that I hired for the entrepreneur world, she was interviewed, and it was important that she showed me that she dealt with Fortune 500 companies, and that she understood the mindset of taking that company and building it, and showed quantitative results of her work. Because at that time, when you start a new business, your capital is not that great.
No,
so
it's
I
not.
had to cash
No.
in on my stocks, my investments that I had on Wall Street to get my business going. And so at that time, she was charging $500 an hour, $500 for 30 minutes.
Wow.
Dang.
So that's $250 a call. And so maybe by the second or the third call, she was not prepared. And I said to her very nicely, we're going to have a do-over. And I kind of gave her some of my expectations of what, because, you know, when you're coaching people, everybody's different, they have different needs. And from there, she was definitely on point. She was so good that my numbers tripled, and I flew to Austin, Texas, to speak at their real estate convention, because they wanted, obviously, other people to understand the importance of coaching.
Let me ask you a question, Donna. Why real estate?
Why real estate?
Why come out of corporate America? We got you. So you had transition plans from leaving New York area to Atlanta, then leaving corporate America to becoming an entrepreneur.
Correct.
But why real estate? Why?
You know, there really is no aha moment.
Okay.
You know, I remember one day in New York having lunch with some friends, and we were all talking about real estate. It was just a casual conversation. And out of the four of us, I was the one who actually finished it. And at that time, I wasn't even really sure if I was going to do it. I
Okay.
just knew at that point in my life, I wanted to do something different. I was leaving New York, and I had to have some other type of skill set if I was going to move out of corporate.
Right,
So
right.
that's why I chose real estate.
Okay. You remember your first deal, your first closing?
I do. Well, I'll put it's two parts. I remember my first closing, but the first deal that had the most impact on me was a senior citizen woman that I met. I drove about an hour away, met her at some fast food place, and she was the sweetest. Like, she could have been my grandma.
Okay.
And I went in there with my whole little presentation. I'm about to tell her how important I am, the things I've done, and what I could do for her and her grandkid, her son, you know. And she goes, honey, I want to know about you first.
Okay.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about some of your likes and just kind of get to feel each other.
Okay.
And that was my aha moment in sales, because I'd never done sales before, right? So coming from corporate, their whole philosophy, don't bring me nothing personal.
Right. True.
I'm going to give you a
True.
task. You figure it out. If you open my door, then we'll kind of powwow and get to
True.
do the resolution thing. But what I had to learn in real estate, it's all personal. It's all
A
emotional.
lot of emotions are involved.
I've
Especially
had
for
more
residential.
conversations.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. More
Yeah.
conversations with people who, I mean, literally telling me their life.
Yeah.
One lady said she tried to commit suicide 3 times.
Ooh.
And she decided, you know what, I can't do this to my mom anymore. One lady telling me about, you know, bad relationships and why she's looking for a house. So I had to really transition that
Right,
hat
right.
from being so business corporate minded
Right, to
to
personal.
really tapping into that emotional.
It's a lot
personal
of
side.
psychology. Like I
It
always say, when it
is.
comes to real estate, you gotta know psychology
You
of people,
do.
sellers and buyers,
You do.
and different parts of the country.
Right.
Because remember now, I can't talk to anyone in Atlanta as I do in New York.
Of course not.
I had to learn
Nope.
that the first year.
Nope.
Correct.
I had to tone it down.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Basically, yeah, because I was 110 miles an
That
hour,
is
sign
true.
here, fear my key, let's get it going.
That's right.
The first 2 months here in 01, I like, that's not going to work.
Not at all, sir.
Even at the closings, like in New York, it's very intense.
They
Very.
are. They are.
You got a lot of lawyers.
There's a lot of people in the
egos
office.
at the
Yeah.
That's
table.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
When I went to my first closing here in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
I came in custom suit like we do in New York. And I'm not smiling. No good morning. I want to see. Let me see the HUDs.
Where's the cut?
Let me
Where's
see
the
my
check?
check.
Are they
And
cut?
everyone was nervous. They want, hey, good morning. People had T-shirts and shorts on and everything.
Flip-flops.
And they said, that's not how we roll here. It's okay.
It's all right.
And
Relax.
there's not a lot of people in the closing. It's,
No,
just,
it's
it's just
not.
the attorney and the
Yeah.
buyers and sellers.
That's it.
And that's it, yeah.
The real
And
So-
some lady named Margie will go in the back and get your check.
Yeah,
That's
and the
right.
check is already done.
It's
It
already
was
done.
the amount I supposed to get. Not like New York
Margie.
where they write it and change it and write
That's
it.
right, that's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
in New York, you go in think you're gonna get 20,000, walk out with 10. And you better be happy you got it. But it's very important that she said it's a psychology, because you end up being friends and family with people after a while. I still talk to everybody almost that I deal with. Like I said, I was in New York last week. I went to a Biggie tribute, and I bumped about 3 or 4 people that I sold houses to. One guy, I sold my house for $200,000 in Bed-Stuy in 2000. His house is now worth $1.6 million. And he does not let me buy any drinks when I come to New York.
Of course not.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I was at the bar talking to some other folks, and I saw 3 Heinekens. And I thought it was someone else's drinks. I was like, well, who drinks these? And my people was like, hey, people just leaving you drinks at the bar. They know what you drink, and they're happy you're here because you know what you've done for them.
Sure.
But the good thing about it is you're doing a lot of life changing for people.
You're building relationships.
That's the main thing. Not the money. The money's good, of course.
Of
but
course.
the main thing is the lives that you impact.
Correct.
To now seeing that people in 2000 are sending kids to college. Off the equity that I got them in their properties, starting businesses, retiring well, investing, everything like that, being exposed to money and wealth building, you know. But the whole key thing is psychology, because if you don't tap into their mind and you make them feel comfortable, you lose that person.
Yeah, absolutely, because it is a life-changing experience, and
It
so
is.
they
And
just
it's a
can't.
scary
It's very
experience
scary,
sometimes. And
It's
it
very
doesn't
scary.
matter if I deal with celebrities or first-time buyers. I tell people right out the gate, I'm going to give you a presentation when we have our consultation, because I've learned, one of your questions, I've learned that you can't assume anything. So you figured if you're dealing with a celebrity, they're savvy, they bought, you know, they've been all over the place, they got multiple homes. And turns out midway, they really don't.
No.
And so I feel like now one of my comfort is I'm just going to apologize up front. If you've already heard this information, then it's a refresher. If you don't, then you've just been educated.
Okay. Any mistakes that you've made early on that you can share that you won't do it again?
You know, I always tell people the first 2 years you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. It's how you rebound from it. That's what separates, you know, most people that try to get into real estate and they quit. You know, and the ones that stay there, because just like she said, she was around 4 people. She's the only one that went forward. I remember being in Mega Evers. It was a class of 50 people. I was the only one that got a license and became a broker. So, you know, I think one of the first mistakes is assuming and not asking the right questions, because it will come up later on, and it will come up at the closing, right? You got about to get your check. You know, like... You know, so that's why I taught myself every phase of real estate in terms of the law, title work, mortgages, everything. Because one mistake I did, I don't want to say mistake because really you don't know unless you go through it.
Okay.
I go to the closing, I'm expecting $20,000. Remember, I just told y'all that you go in New York and you think you're getting 20, you walk out with 10. The title work comes in. They said, hey, there's some liens on the property and the numbers are short. So then what happened is everyone looks at the broker. The buyer's like, I'm not paying for it. The seller's like, listen, if I don't make $100,000, I'm not going to do the deal. And they start putting their coats on. They start walking out. So then you're like, look, we're not getting paid a 9-to-5 salary. This is it. You work 3-4 months on this deal. You got 20 on the table. You're like, okay, if I could at least get a 15, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, okay, cool. I cut the fee. And then what it was something minor that if I known, I could have resolved it.
Okay.
Which is, I could have looked at the title report and said, hey, there's a little small judgment. I could have made a phone call, eliminated it, I'm good. So that was one of my first mistakes. But I didn't say mistake. You live and learn.
That's right. You do.
You learn. But there's so many aspects to what you need to do as a good person in real estate to just make sure everything is covered, whether you're representing a client or if you're the client, right? So that's why I think it's really great, Donna, that you go over everything, because some of us are probably repeat customers, right? Or we have purchased property or purchased a home and we didn't have the opportunity of dealing with you first, right? So now we deal with you now, and it's terms and things and laws and taxes that have changed, especially if we've been in a lot. You're getting probably a lot of empty nesters, right? People that lived in bigger homes and now kids around, they want to kind of sell that and downsize. So it's things that they haven't experienced in maybe 10, 20, close to 30 years probably. So it's good that you guys are on top of it to tell us, because you're the bridge between us and that sense of reality, because we don't know. You go in that room and it's like you feel like nobody's really vetting for you, because it's about everybody getting their money at the end of the day, because the bank or the mortgage company wants to make sure they're getting their piece, right? The closing attorney wants his piece, the seller wants his piece, and so the agent, so the buyer's like, well, shoot, did I just come in here and take care of everybody, and I'm stuck with a high interest rate or a loan that's not going to work for me, and I'm stuck in this thing for 30 years, and y'all smiling and getting drinks, and I'm sitting there like, well, how am I going to make this first payment, which it tells me in the closing statement is due in 3 weeks or 5 weeks, right? So it's a very nervous experience, and that's probably why some people, and that's why this conversation might be helpful today, have been reluctant to even purchase a home, because they don't even know where to begin. Like, what is the tools that they need in order to begin to even seek property? So ideally, let me ask you this question. What is the best average score? I know you're the 860 god over here, Carl. I know, ideally. But for those of us that are not 860, ideally, what is the best credit score we should have in pursuing buying our own home?
I would say the minimum 620. 620. Right. They could do an FHA loan for 620. But also the other key factors is not maxing out the credit cards. Okay. And you can have a 700 score and have all your credit cards maxed out and get declined a mortgage. Because your debt to income ratio utilization is high. It's too high. So I would just say minimum 620. Okay. About 2 or 3 trade lines. It's good if you're paying on a car on time.
What do you mean 2 or 3 trade lines?
All right, like a couple of credit cards. Okay. Yeah, and not having them maxed out either. Okay. Because the banks want to see that you got some reserves. Okay. And that you're also fiscally responsible. Okay. So I would just say that's the minimum to start out. And I would say before anyone talks to an agent, call Donna up, stuff like that, get your stuff checked beforehand. Right, right. You know, you want to go into a mortgage broker, have them pull your credit, see what your score is, see what your debt to income ratio is, see if your taxes are up to date, your pay stubs, everything like that. Get all your documentation. Then get your pre-qualification. Don't go in and say, I want a $300,000 house. Let the mortgage broker determine the amount. Then you go see an agent. You know, because someone like Donna don't want to show you $300,000 house all over Georgia and find out you only could afford $180,000. That wastes her time and your time. So you want to make sure you're qualified first. Right. And then you stay within that range. Right. You know, and then I always say people, when you're in that range, 180,000, also be specific. Do you want a townhouse, an older home, a traditional home? What area? You know, people like to be vague. Oh, okay, I'm qualified for 180,000. Just go ahead. No, you got to still get more specific.
Okay. And I have, I totally agree. What you're talking about, I also have them ask the lender for what's called a good faith estimate. So like you said, they could qualify for $300,000, but they may only want to pay $1,000 a month. So then we need to narrow down that $300,000 down to whatever, $150,000. So we're in that right price range. So the worst thing you want to do is go out there and let them get excited about a $300,000 house, and then all of a sudden the lender tells them later that, okay, your payments is $2,500, and they go like, whoa, I didn't want to spend that much. So then we wasted our time. Right. So, and then to add to that is when I'm having my consultation, like you said, they can be very vague. So I created a questionnaire. So we kind of go over everything of what your likes are, all the way down to what your lifestyle is. Because a lot of times, especially my clients that come in from out of town, they get so excited about coming to Georgia because the houses obviously are much cheaper and they're bigger and they're beautiful, but they're forgetting about their kids. And I said, you have to remember the kids have a lifestyle too. And so you can't just buy a house because it's beautiful and you're in a subdivision that there's nothing to do. Now, granted, there are some things around the surrounding areas that you can take them to, the YMCA and events in Atlanta, but you also still want them to be able to ride their bikes and play with neighbors. Right. So I kind of really detailed my questionnaire for them. So very they really, it's really grounded all the way around for everybody in the household.
Very important. When I first started looking for a home, they used to have a lot of classes free given by the county or maybe a bank or something on first home buyer seminars and conferences, which I found to be very helpful because they had realtors, they had the loan officer, the mortgage companies, people from Equifax, like every part of the process, the inspectors, the appraisers, like, so you kind of knew what to expect, and you got a packet and your checklist, and you made sure that before you came to the table, you at least got 90% of the work done in your folder, and that if you had some stuff, if you knew you was late paying some bills, you need to go ahead and get right and be paying them on time for the next couple of months before somebody could seriously start considering you. And if you had some things that you could pay off, go ahead and pay that off. So is that offered through banks these days now, or do
once a month I do it?
You do it, but you're not a bank. You're just Donna damn Hogan.
I partner with the lender.
Okay.
And we once a month have a buyer's orientation. Orientation, and he talks about the lending process, and I of course talk about the real estate process.
Yes.
And so also within the consultation, I kind of let them know that questionnaire that we're talking about, and that I have a team. Yeah. So I have to have all the people that you're talking about, the contractor, the inspector, the attorneys, and all the things that I want to be their concierge. So if I'm your concierge, while we're looking for a house, when we close, and after, then I did a good job. Yeah.
I feel that you're a good face of reality for real estate. Oftentimes, again, when I was younger, you could see agents that might have just gotten their license, and all they want to do is just sell you the house. Yeah. And you get this approval kind of conversation with them, but the real dogs in the situation or people are the loan officers. If you can't get the money, then nobody's messing with you. If you don't look, if your credit score, if your apples are not lined up, if you don't have your stuff in order, it's all wishful thinking and having the conversation about being in a home if you don't have that finance or that credit or that loan backing you up to really have people take you seriously.
You have to do the hard part first.
You got to do the hard part first. So looking at the house is great, having a sense of community and where you want to be ideally, but those numbers got to meet up, right, Carl?
Yes, and also something else she said, the real estate agent and broker are the point person. You're like the Kyrie Irving of the whole situation. Okay. So you want to have your team. So the point person can't be the mortgage broker, right? Because he just got to get you the qualification, but the agent is going to be the one to deal with the psychology of the situation. When a person has the jitters and everything like that, the emotion, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And the real estate agent and broker is a person that's going to say, okay, we're going to have this person for the mortgage, this person the attorney, this person for the title, this person for the inspection, and they're the point person. So it's good that she has it where she does a seminar and then have all the point people. Yes. Because I found out that works out better, because I had every hat, I do mortgages, I do real estate broker, but me running point was better as an agent broker for real estate as opposed to the mortgage side. Right. Because that person that's looking, they're going to have stuff that pop up, and you could squash it right then and there as it goes along the process, and then fill everybody in at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's a good deal. Now, I opened up by saying that we've noticed there's a lot of changes here in Atlanta. So it's really a lot. What's going on? Like, why is it that everybody wants to build and expand here? Is this a reemergence of Atlanta, or what's your take? Carl, let me start with you. What do you think? What's going on?
What happens, and it's happening in every city, Charlotte, St. Louis, New York, of course, Brooklyn's changing.
He's got to throw in Brooklyn. He says New York, then he has to throw in the Brooklyn part. Are there any other boroughs called? No, I just mess with New York.
I just talk about Brooklyn. I'll get around to the other ones, Harlem. Maybe the third time I come on, I'll talk about the Bronx.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not bringing you back on this show.
But, hey, much love to all the boroughs. So I make more money in all the boroughs, even Staten Island, okay? I pay the tolls, I go to Staten Island. So I don't want to get no hate mail in my inbox. But you have cycles, real estate cycles. Okay. And now we have a technology cycle. Also, too, people want different style of houses. So you have a phase where people want to go suburbs. Then you have a phase that want to come back. Then you got phases, now we're in the millennial phase. Right. The millennial phase is a little bit different now. They're not getting married as quick as we did when we was coming up. They don't want to move to the suburbs. They got more technological advances. So really what happened is the builders have to adapt towards that. That's why now you're seeing a lot of building activity going on in the cities again, as opposed to in the suburbs. That's why you see a lot of the malls are closing down in the suburbs, because the baby boomers are phasing out. The Gen Xers and Ys that we are You know, we're in the suburbs, but the money now is the millennials, so that's why they cater to it. So that's why now you're seeing a lot of the high rises going up, the apartment complex. Even though it's more apartment complexes going up because millennials are renting more than even buying, which I still feel they should be owning their own home. But right now, for some reason, they're feeling that renting is a safer option, or they just, you know, I'm going to be single. I'm not going to have a family. I just want to get a apartment building. And so that's why they're doing that mixed use, live and work and play type stuff.
And I'm also seeing it, I'm in Cobb. So Cobb is suburban, right? So coming from Manhattan, not Brooklyn.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
What I'm noticing, even in downtown Kennesaw, they built townhomes. When I tell you 300 plus, I never thought they would do that in downtown Kennesaw because it's the suburbs. So that's how, and they also built apartment complexes. So that just tells me they are catering to a variety of different types of groups. They're trying to get it to become more younger because Kennesaw's old school. That's old money, third, fourth
But they're probably
generation.
catering to the Kennesaw students now graduating.
That could be
And
true as
to
well.
say,
They
hey,
KSU.
y'all could live around here,
They-
keep going to school, technology,
Correct.
IT jobs and stuff like that.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah, there's multiple changes happening.
Yeah, because the job market isn't as stable, right? I mean, you know, I don't know, like this whole traditional thing about being in corporate America until you retire, resign,
It's old.
20, 25 years, 30 years out. Now it's like if you're at one job longer than 3 to 5 years,
That's
they're looking
correct.
at you like, why haven't you moved?
Right, and that's the
Right.
mindset of the millennials. And I've had a lot of clients that are the millennials. They,
Okay.
I mean, they're like you. Let me talk to the camera. They're wonderful people.
right.
Come
Yeah.
and give me more deals.
Call
Yeah.
us.
But it's true. You really have, and I've taken 2 classes on the mindset of millennials.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
You
yeah, I
have to
read all the
constantly
time.
educate
Yeah,
yourself about-
one thing about good people in the real estate, you gotta always read
Sure,
and
yeah,
research. You
that's
gotta
right.
research areas, trends, and also the clients because everyone is different. Like you said, the millennials gonna have a different need as opposed to Gen X and Y as opposed to baby boomers. And if you don't read and you put them all in the same box, you're not gonna survive.
And you can't approach them the same way, just like
Nope.
you said, the way you approach people in Atlanta and New York.
Yep.
You have to approach the millennials. They're not going to call you. They'll text you.
Text you, yeah.
You know, you got a contract you got to sign. It's in e-sign. If you
It better be
think they're gonna-
DocuSign. They're not gonna print it out and sign. It gotta be
Right,
DocuSign.
e-sign,
Yeah.
right, electronic
Yup.
e-sign. They're not going to.
And-
Don't tell me to print anything.
If they're
Yeah.
mad at you, they're not going to say nothing. They're going to send you an emoji, and that's how you can figure out what's going on. As opposed to a baby boomer, they'll tell you what's up immediately. So
Yeah.
you just
But
gotta,
they are wonderful. They do
Yeah.
buy.
They buy,
and
they buy
and
big.
also, like you mentioned, as far as their location of where they're buying, I was surprised that a lot of the millennials are also like in the Dunwoody area. Now, if you're not at a certain price point, you're going to get old. You're going to get an old, but they like the area, so therefore I'm willing to pay for an older property.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, again, it's
And,
a
and one other
variety of
thing on the
choices.
millennial that's good is that they're very tech savvy and knowledgeable. They're coming in with their research already.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna Google you,
Oh, yeah.
say,
Oh,
okay,
for
I saw
sure.
you wrote books, you did this. They're gonna Google the area. They're gonna
That's
have
right.
the demographic.
Read your
So,
reviews.
Yeah, they're gonna know about the rates,
That's right.
what bank to go to.
So
So,
what do they need you for then?
Oh, I've
The
asked that question.
experience.
I've asked that
Experience.
question.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
have to give them the driver's seat sometimes. And then, of course, when it falls apart, they say, okay, then we understand why you're good at what you're good
yeah,
at.
Okay.
the experience.
The
Yeah,
experience.
it
Yeah,
is
our knowledge
experience.
and experience. Yeah, they
Correct.
still
You
need
can't
that. You
just
can't
read about
replicate
that.
it. Yeah.
You can't.
What a lot of us that have homes, we're thinking about creating another stream of income, right? So then you might want to do buy some kind of commercial property, flip it into Airbnb. How has that been? Have you guys been getting customers or clients that want to do that as well? Is that a pretty lucrative market for Airbnb
Oh, definitely.
purchases?
In New York with the brownstones, Airbnb saved a lot of people from foreclosure.
Awesome.
After the market crash, people had tenant issues. They had challenges trying to get caught up on their mortgages.
Yeah.
I did a lot of loan modifications
Okay.
during that time period because it was a time that after the real estate market crash, you had to rebrand yourself in the industry. So since nobody at that time was getting mortgages to buy everything like that, more people was losing. I had to rebrand myself as a home retention specialist where I did the modifications, short sales, and stuff like that. Now, when Airbnb came out, that basically helped a lot of people keep their homes.
Yeah.
Because now, if they had a rental where they was getting, say, $1,200 per month for a 2-bedroom, they're now making $3,000 to $4,000 a month. With Airbnb. So now you have a whole industry of people that are Airbnb managers, where if you have a job and you're too busy to manage it, they'll manage it for you for a percentage.
Nice.
They get it cleaned, they market it, they know when to price it right. So Airbnb, and I got this chapter coming out, my new book coming out. Of course, I got to start doing the plugs.
Yeah, go.
My new updated book on real estate. She gets a kick out of it. Getting the Real Out of Real Estate, the Millennial edition. I do talk about Airbnb and how to make money with Airbnb. I just stayed in one when I was in Brooklyn. One of my clients, they bought a brownstone for $300,000. It's now worth $1.4 million. Nice. They let me stay there, gave me a good play on it, and totally renovated, 4 bedrooms, and they're making about $4,000 or $5,000 a month, just on one unit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. But there's some cons on the Airbnb, right?
Yes. Every pros is a con.
That is correct.
For what I heard is you got to get up on, you got to make the place always look presentable.
Right.
You know, you got to have a good team to come in and clean. You know, you don't want to have someone leave out, check out 11, someone check in at 3, and then, you know, the bed is still not made. It's not good towels and everything like that.
Right.
So you always got to make sure you have a good cleaning team. You do have some people that's cheap, that want to do it themselves and don't have the time to do it right. I say invest and have a good cleaning
Correct.
team.
Right.
You're going to make the money.
Right.
Knowing when to price it. You got some people, once again, they get greedy and say, okay, I want $200 a night, where you really should be pricing accordingly.
Right.
And so they're having vacancies. You're not making money with vacancies. So you want to make sure you look at everybody else in the area and see how they're pricing their days. So you don't want to be the highest. Same thing when we list our houses.
Right.
We don't want to be the highest house in the subdivision that looks the worst. You know, we're not going to we'd be sending an open house for no reason all day long. So same thing with your Airbnbs. You don't want to overprice your days.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're going to have, like, people that's throwing parties,
Right.
breaking up the furniture, everything like that. So what a lot of the seasoned people that does it tell me, they said, hey, you have your insurance, and Airbnb also insure your stuff. You take a picture of everything you have in there, even down to the cups, and have all your receipts so that if anything is stolen, broken, whatever, you get reimbursed.
Wow, it's a lot of work. Now you've been experiencing the Airbnb lifestyle up in New York. Have you been able to get customers in Atlanta? Have you got people that's doing it down here too?
Oh yeah, and they're doing very good.
Okay.
We had people was making $5,000 in one weekend during the Super Bowl.
Oh, like that, yeah.
Yes, some was making maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a day doing corporate rentals.
Yeah.
So people was making a ton of money, and they're still making good money. If you have a place like Dunwoody, as you see that a lot of corporations are doing their seminars in Dunwoody because they don't want to deal with Atlanta traffic.
Right.
That's a hot area. Cobb County is a hot area because of SunTrust Park. Alpharetta now is a hot area also because a lot of technology firms are up there. So it's all about location. You know, you get yourself a good location, you buy it right or rent it right, price it right, you'll make your money.
And it's just also, even just yesterday, clients of mine, they had a baby shower, and I referred them to someone who does Airbnb. She was booked, but we found another one, beautiful house in Atlanta, and they got to stay there as well. So for the whole weekend and a baby shower, beautiful big house. Halls are old school now. To rent a hall, because then you got to get tables and chairs, and you don't have a full
good
kitchen,
point. Yeah,
and
good
this
point.
was a lovely, lovely home.
Good point. Yeah, I was going to say that now that Atlanta is becoming this movie industry and film, everything's being done here in Atlanta. A lot of companies, movie industries and companies and filming companies are using Airbnbs,
They sure are,
even
yeah.
for cooking or just segmenting, you know, some home improvement stuff or just having conversations, interviewing people, whatever.
And
whatever
the
case may
actors
be.
staying there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Very-
before Airbnb, I mean, I would have my celebrity clients who needed a place to film a video. And instead of Airbnb didn't exist, I would just call, you know, the high-end realtors who had listed these beautiful homes. And they said, sure.
Yeah.
They just had to sign off on a liability form that we're not responsible if someone gets hurt. But realtors did it our own way back in the day before A&B became popular.
That's right. That's when
Yeah.
videos, hip hop videos, and R&B
Right.
music videos.
I had
was
a
made.
very famous actor. I had got him a place for about 3 months while he filmed the Tyler Perry film,
Okay.
and we got paid a broker fee.
Oh, nice.
Got the place, and he gave us some nice autographs afterwards.
You always perking up, Carl. You always get the perks. I'm gonna hang out with this guy a little bit more. Based on the trends now, because Atlanta took a real bad hit, real estate wise. I've seen it, witnessed it, like dried up. There was lots where grass was growing because real estate had really dried up. In the past 3 to 4 years, it has gone on the up in the most unique areas, even where you thought nothing would be built
Or wanted.
There's a stimulus, there's a sensation, so people are buying. And I think the driving force is these big companies, talks Amazon, Google, Yahoo, all these other, big places, big companies coming into Atlanta is a surgence. Do we think that that's going to stop, or how long do we think this wave is going to last? What's your thoughts, Donna? What do you think?
Oh my goodness! If I had an 8 ball, I would definitely
Shake the 8 ball.
I would
The magic
be.
8.
That's right. I'll have all the great answers. But yes, there's a lot of wonderful things that's happening in Atlanta, and they're finding that it's less expensive. So everything is always about the dollar when it comes to corporation or just regular layman folk, right?
Right.
So what we as realtors or investors are having a little problem with is that we're still struggling with inventory. So when the market crashed back in the day, there were these, the commercial lots just went plummeting. And then you had builders who just bellied up.
Right.
And so now they're looking for all these different vacant lots that,
Right.
okay, now we can just take advantage of those. You have these wonderful subdivisions that at one point there was one builder, and now you have another building coming in, and sometimes the HOA say you have to build it as of the same, or they can just kind of go in there and do as they want.
Right.
But yeah, I'm always going to believe that Atlanta's going to be highly desirable for everyone.
Carl, what do you think?
No, I absolutely agree. Atlanta's a desirable because of location. You could get to 8 cities within 6 hours from Atlanta, and the weather's good. People are always coming here. Charlotte's another place that's hot. Other than that, everything is a cycle, of course, with the economy. Stuff we can't control. Could be anything like changes in government, changes in administration. I even remember last year when I do small business financing and financing for startups. Last year with the China tariffs that affected financing. So 1 minute people was able to get loans like this. A month later wasn't able to because of the tariffs and uncertainty in the market. So that's one thing I could just say, that you always got to be prepared for the uncertainty in the market because you just never know.
Yeah. Now, Donna, you mentioned that there's a shortage of inventory. Really?
Well, yeah, it's been a while. They've been promising us realtors that we were going to get. The banks were saying that when we were dealing with a lot of the short sales and all of that, the people that foreclosed was going to come back on the market. It never happened. So what they started doing, the investors, they started directly going to the bank, and they started buying properties in bulk. So what we thought that was coming to everyone never really happened. Now, that being said, I would be out of business if my buyers couldn't find homes.
Right.
We just had to strategize a different way. There are a lot of homes now that are older people, like you said, are family members are now passing on to their children or their grandchildren, and so they're doing tear downs and they're buying lots and they're figuring out how to get around it. But everybody's still going to buy and people are still going to sell.
That's a good thing to hear, because I got some property
Yeah,
that I'm looking.
they're anxious and they're flying off.
I'm
you put
looking.
you put a house on the market right now, it doesn't last a week.
Are you serious?
I'm totally
Especially in a good
serious.
school district, it's going to go like that.
And there's some people who don't even really care. They put their kids in private school. I mean, it's that much of an urgency when new homes go on the market, whether it's a new construction or resale or older. I have the conversations with sellers to let them know what they should do to get the house ready for photography, but it still sells quick.
One thing I have to say that is it bothers me a little bit, because our money is good too, right? So as a consumer, black consumer, you purchase a home and you buy it in a community of people that look like yourself, right? Okay. It's a working community. Like the average house, the income combined is over 6 figures, right? So, everybody's working, right? Mom and dad works, kids are good, you don't really have this crime situation, whatever. Okay. The market had tanked, so everybody's house took a hit, right? And now it's almost a decade later, and the house is finally getting to a place, to the price point that you paid for it over a decade ago. That makes me feel a way with the whole real estate thing, because in other parts of the city, they're not experiencing that, where they bought their house for nothing, and now the houses are $500,000, $600,000, and it really goes back to diversity of the neighborhood, unfortunately or fortunately, and location.
Correct.
So regardless of how hard we work as people of color, our neighborhoods are still not considered like creme de la creme. Like like people are not busting to kind of move into our neighborhoods, no matter how much we respect HOAs, the school district is fair, whatever the case may be, the location is 20 minutes from the city. It's not getting the same vibration of all of this urgency, even in Cobb or downtown Kennesaw or Alpharetta, and I'm talking Southwest Atlanta. Like if you go south of the airport, it's a different song. And even though the houses are beautiful and you get a lot for your money, when it's time to resell, it's a different tune. I'm telling you, it's a different thing. So word to the wise. So when you're out here looking for your house, you might want to consider that. It's unfortunate, but the numbers don't lie. When you try to price your house or sell it, you're not gonna get what it should be for, and that's just what it is. What do you guys say?
I could just say no. Let me tell you something. I had built starter homes and townhomes in Union City, Riverdale, Jonesboro.
Come on now,
right?
talk now.
And it was a hot area because close to the airport.
Right.
It was priced good. We were selling townhouses for about $130,000.
Come on now.
It was good for single moms that wanted to live in a house. And then two things that happened because there's stuff that happened beyond your control.
Right.
One was Clayton County lost its accreditation.
But the school system, I remember
With the school
that
system, right?
Yeah.
That messed up a lot of stuff right there. Then when the market crashed, it affected everywhere.
Everybody.
But what happened now is a lot of people went into foreclosure.
Yeah.
And when things go bad, we get hit first.
That's
and
true,
the hardest.
Carl. That's true.
So
that's
then
true.
we had people had to walk away from their houses. Then at that point, people bought it, and then other people moved in.
Correct.
That was not
much
homeowners.
lower.
Right, and it wasn't homeowners. And they look at their area different than a homeowner.
Okay.
Homeowner, you pay your taxes, you pay your HOA, you're going to respect your stuff more.
Okay.
So when it's renting, not as much.
Not as much.
So then that also happened.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back. But like I said, when it happens to our community, we get hit the hardest
we
and we're
do.
the slowest to recover.
Yeah, we are. Does redlining still exist?
Oh, always.
Always?
I'm
Ain't
being
going
100. Yeah, and they just
You said
learn
we
different
100.
ways of doing it.
How is it different
Yeah.
now? See, what's going on? How they
They call stuff different ways.
okay.
Some call this is now called heights. You know, they give it a special name.
Okay.
You know, so they'll say this is the hot area. So it's a buzzwords for the redlining, and of course the banks in the underwriting phase, they will say, okay, this is more desirable to do a mortgage than others don't.
My gosh.
You know, they do it by zip codes. You know, or what they say now is that this is a higher foreclosure area, so we're not going to lend as much, or it's going to be a higher interest rate.
Oh man.
And we as realtors, we can't steer. That's also considered illegal. We can't tell someone, well, we think you'd better to go to this area, go to that area, because there's spotters out there. You know, I can have someone come to me and sit there and do the whole presentation
but
and
they-
act like they're ready to buy, and they could be a spotter. And if I say the wrong thing or I steer them the wrong way and any of those
You
things,
can lose your license.
you can get fined, you can lose
Fine.
your license. Absolutely.
Could we have a conversation off the record? Can you tell me things off the
You
record?
could be recording me.
Oh man, because I would want to know, but I guess you got
And
to.
you know, when you have conversations with people, I mean, I get it. I'm
Yeah.
a person also who came from out of town, and I'm a person who's learned Atlanta, and I understand people really want the truth. You know, they really want to know, am I going to be safe? But a lot of things are public. So you tell them to go to the police report. You see how many times people call the
Got
cops.
you.
You know, you try to give them education, but not in a way that's going to seem like I'm trying to
You're
steer
steering
out of
them.
the way.
You're steering them. Is it still important to buy points? Do people still do that when they're closing? Back in the day, you used to buy points to get your interest rate down. Is that still a thing that we do or people do?
Oh yeah, it's really up
Yeah.
to the individual. It's
Okay.
according to what their credit score was.
Okay.
And if they feel like, well, I have the money up front, right? to reduce it and they have lower payments? Yeah.
So say like, and this is even going on now, because I do more mortgages now, so I see commercial. So if someone say, hey, you know, I have some reserve, some money, I get them a 4.5 rate. They may say, hey, you know what, I want 4.25 for long term. That cuts down my payment. They could then buy their points, and then they could get a lower rate. So yeah, and then, like I always tell people, it depends on their situation.
Okay, because sometimes it's not worth it, right? Buying the points.
It really depends. If you're gonna spend like thousands of dollars to get like a quarter of a point off, it's not gonna make a big difference, you know. But if it's you know, a couple of dollars to make a big difference, it makes sense. But you know, if you're gonna nitpick, say, okay, you got me 4.5. I want 4.4125. And it's going to cost you $3,000. It's not going to make any sense.
I'm not doing that with you, Carl. I'm not doing that with you, see. Listen, is it still effective to pay extra on our monthly mortgage? Is that still a good thing to do?
Yeah, because it cuts on the principal. And I always tell people, make sure you tell the bank that I'm going to apply to the principal. If not, they're going to take it for the interest and play dumb. So, you know, you just want to say.
The amount of years you have on your mortgage.
Yeah, you apply it to the principal. It cut down the amount of years and payments that you have. I always tell people if you do it, so if you get a lick, your grandmama died, leave you some money, and you want to pay down your principal, want to add extra, just make sure you specify to go towards the principal.
He's so Brooklyn. Did you hear him
I heard him say that.
If you get a lick.
Acronym of something, I'm sure.
You get a lick. Donna, do you, for your people, do you find that they are doing the 30-year mortgages, or they're doing more of the 20 and 15s? What is the cadence?
Majority is doing the 30.
Still doing the 30?
What I am trying to, and it's also based on their credit score, and it's also based on the conversation that they have with their lender. Majority of people usually do the FHA.
Okay.
But I try to kind of just educate them on both. Again, I'm not the expert in the lending institution, but I know a little bit enough to say, well, if the lender say you can qualify, and they'll kind of tell you, you know, your choices. The conventional, I always try to have them do that, just because of the PMI.
Okay.
The PMI falls off. But yes, most of them will do the 30 just because the rate's a little lower, their payments are a little lower. But you can always refinance, right?
Yeah, always
You can always put more money to the principal.
Put more money to the principal.
And you can still bring down the time that you have the.
Because like what I tell people, like, you never know what happens over time. So if you get a 15-year mortgage, that means it's going to be more money per month.
Correct.
Now, 5 years from now, if you get laid off, sick, anything like that, you may say, wow, you know what, now I got this big payment.
That's right.
So most people go with 30-year because it's lower and, you know, it's affordable. And then, like I said, if they get, once again, a lick, they could pay it down, refinance it, whatever. I even had a lady, 80 years old, and she wanted a 30-year mortgage. And she said she's going to stay there and pay it off, too.
And she was 80?
Yeah. She's buying investment property. She said, you better give me a 30-year mortgage.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Man, interesting stuff, What do people need to do from a financial perspective? Like, how much money is required to have down when you're closing on a house now? Is it still 5% or is it 10% down?
It's
or
according to what they're doing, right? But it's 3.5 majority of the time.
3.5 majority of the time, yeah.
Still 3.5. Okay.
But from what I've been told from my lenders, they're now changing some of the lending processes as well. I was just told that the 100% financing is coming back. We already know that the VA, right? You get 100% financing, so down payment is not required. As a realtor, when we do put in an offer, we're always asking for the seller contributions. So, and then there are other programs out there who's doing an FHA where they have down payment assistance. So there are some people who really are ready to buy, and they may not have all the money that they need. But there are other avenues that I can show them or send them to the right lender that can assist them with down payment as well as seller contributions.
Okay, what are seller contributions? I'm
Closing
interested.
costs, just because they're going to have a certain amount that they have to contribute to it.
Yeah, it's about 3% in Georgia and 6% in New York.
Okay.
Closing costs, yeah.
Okay.
So and then I think it can go up to, I think, no more than 4%. It's according with the sales price.
Okay.
It is.
And you have to have proof of that 3% or provide that 3% for selling?
When the lender is doing their, I guess, qualifying them, there have to be a certain amount in their account before they can close, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, we look for the money in the bank account, sourcing the 3%, 3.5% down.
Right.
We also want to see reserves.
Right.
Now, 2 to 3 about 2 to 3 months of reserves to make sure that they could still make their payments and everything like that. So, I'm being real. We want to avoid someone that's like, I want to buy a house for $200,000, but they only got like $100 the whole time. They can't even pay for the appraisal.
Correct.
We want to make sure that they're going to be responsible, have money that they can afford this, because the bank don't want to take their house back.
And while the lenders are looking at that portion, I'm having the conversation with them that they have to have money for the inspection. They have to have money for the appraisal. So if they're coming out the gate with not having a lot of money, we can't even get some of the things that needs to be done before you even get to the closing table.
Yeah, so much that goes into owning a home that we don't even think about it, because we just look at it and we want this house, and there's so much that goes with it. Because then you have HOA dues, right, and association fees that some do that you have. Then you got to keep up the covenants and stuff. So that's lawn care, and then you're responsible for anything that goes wrong with the home, especially after warranties are gone and that type of thing. Property taxes, and that can subject to change based on what's going on, and no one has control over that. So it's a huge responsibility. It takes a minute to get into a rhythm, right? To have a homeowner acumen, to understand that, even though I qualify for this amount, I really don't want that because I got to have this cushion in reserve. Oftentimes we get in a home and then we stop living, because then we got to buy furniture and cut this on, cut that on, make sure everything is going and up and operational. Then it's this little habit called eating.
Well, this is why in our consultation, I'm really giving them real talk.
Right.
Because you don't want to look at a house where you're going to be house poor. So you don't want to take every check that you have to pay bills to live there. Now you're no longer.
And believe it or not, the way rents are going up now, people are spending more than rent now and don't even own it. You're paying the mortgage for your landlord. Just like when you work a 9-to-5 job, you're basically enriching your boss. That's how I look at it. So I say, hey, listen, my first house, when I bought it, my mortgage was less than my rent, and I had the equity. Right now with rents, especially if you're going to rent in a hot area good school district, the up-and-coming area, you're going to be spending $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent for a 2-bedroom, whereas you could get a $150,000 townhouse and your mortgage would be like $900, and you're owning it. So I always tell people, don't get discouraged by it. You could do it. You're doing it right now. Sometimes when you're paying rent, you don't own it. And at any time, especially if you're renting out a regular house, you don't know. What if their owner gets in foreclosure? What if he sells it? Just like when you work a 9-to-5 job, you don't know what's going to happen with the job and the boss. So I said, control your own destiny. You don't have to get the biggest house on the block. You could just start with a townhouse and move up from there at that point.
Is the 150 still realistic now that, because everything is starting higher, right? So can we still find property at the 150 mark?
I would say, like townhouses, some areas, 150.
What area we're talking about?
Yeah, we got to talk about.
Oh, no, not New York at all. You can't get anything in New York, not even a co-op. So my numbers, I'm talking about the Atlanta area.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, the Atlanta area.
But again, it's just based on, I tell people all the time, especially when they're coming from out of town, can I get it for this amount? I can get you anything you want. The question you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do the work if it's in a not so desirable house, or if it's old and needs a lot of repairs? Because they say everybody's trash is someone else's treasure. So, I can get you $1 million house, but I can also get you a $150,000 house. So it's anything is possible.
And I think, like she said, people got to have the vision also.
You do.
I think now with, these shows, people want everything just cookie cutter. The best deal you're going to get is something that needs work. You just got to have that vision to say, hey, let me go in there. I'm going to put some elbow room, whatever, elbow grease in and paint it and stuff like that. Go to Home Depot and make it yours, because that's how you're going to get your best deal. So you could get a house for $200,000 value for $120,000, $130,000. It might not look good, but if you go ahead and put everything in, then you're good at that point. As opposed to you buying it for $200,000 because someone else did the renovation. Now you done gave that person a profit.
That's right.
So I tell people in my books, on my memes, I'm still gonna keep plugging my books. Okay. I say you make your money when you buy, not when you sell. It sounds crazy, but you do. You make your money when you buy, because if you buy smart, you have your equity in there. You could create equity a lot of times when you could do a short sale. You could go to somebody that's in a foreclosure situation and go in there and do a short sale with the bank. And now you create your equity now. For example, I'm doing a short sale. House is valued $360,000. the bank's going to take 250. That's 100,000 right there. You know, and the bank just won't let it go, as opposed to someone now buying a house for 360, and now you have no equity. So I always say to smart people, look for something you could do a short sell, or look for something you could put your work into it, so that then you basically could have something affordable.
Okay. I've been stingy all this time. I know. If you guys got questions for my real estate gurus here to the left and to the right of me, these two wonderful people, call 470-251-4343. That's 470-251-4343. My next question is, there are some people that are getting together and creating these groups and then buying properties together. Highly recommended, or should we try to do that, or how optimal is that?
That's good. You only could do but so much by yourself. With limitations with mortgages, finance, and everything like that. Unfortunately, a lot of other nationalities, that's what they do.
I know.
I mean, when I was in New York, the Chinese was buying up stuff left and right, and they just pull their money and do it. I've represented Egyptian groups, Korean groups, and seamlessly they put their money together and buy stuff. Our people, for us to survive in this economy, in this society, that's what you have to do. You only could do but so much by yourself, 1 or 2 houses.
Yeah.
But for you to go and buy up the whole block, it got to be more people pulling their resources. And I think that people now have to learn. And then also, you want the different aspects of it, different visions.
Right.
You may have a vision, just like I talked about, getting a house well below market value if you put work into it. Someone may have a vision of seeing it even better. So it's good to team up with other people of like minds and get together and buy houses.
How do you protect your money from real estate investments? So, like, for example, there might be some people that flip properties, right? They go, they get them below market cost. They got the team of people, or they go in there and they fix it themselves. They flip the property. So how do you protect your money from that tax? Because it's an asset, right?
Once you sell it.
Right, once you sell it.
Well, if you have it on the LLC, you're protected right there.
Okay.
And then, like I said, there's provisions where they give you time or to do like a 1031 exchange.
Okay.
Where you could take the money you made from the profit, roll it to another property and stuff like that.
Correct.
So I would say if you're going to be flipping and buying properties, form an LLC, and then you put yourself as a managing member. Plus, when you do an LLC, if you want to get investors and everything like that, whether for credit or money, you could put them under the LLC. And then you could do an operating agreement to say, okay, this is specified, your percent, your role, your role. This is what we have a problem with, because people get together at a hookah lounge and just say stuff. Then when the money or the rubber hit the road, now it's like, oh, you said, and I ain't know. No,
you need
even you got to write it on a napkin. Write it out. This is what my role is. This is what your role is. We're going to form this LLC and protect it. People doing under their credit, under their name, they baby mama name. Then when it goes bad, now they mad at everybody. Do it formally. Put it on contract, form an LLC, and then everyone has their role. This is your role. This is my role. This is what we're going to do. And everyone's happy at that point.
There's going to be an instance like someone sells their property because they want to get out of debt. They don't necessarily want to take the proceeds from that and buy another piece of property. How do we manage that capital?
The capital gain.
The capital gains. How do we still have to pay tax on that money, right?
Well, the 1031 exchange protects that, so they got time.
Okay.
But if they want to eliminate debts and everything like that, of course, when you pay off your debt, you're not going to get taxed because that money went towards something.
Okay.
We have that happen with a lot of estate sales. I do a lot of estate sales,
Okay.
especially in New York. Someone grandmama died, leaving them a brownstone for $1 million. They sell it. The family got split the money. Some may want to buy property. Some may, you know what, I'm going to give me a Benz. I'm going to do this and that. But the thing is, if they pay off their debts, they're not going to get taxed on that. Whatever's left.
Okay.
If they haven't done anything else, they're going to get taxed on about 20-25%.
Okay. That's good to know, because some people might want to do that. It's not always about staying in the real estate game. It might be overwhelming. So if you have a piece of property that you don't want to reinvest the proceeds from the sale of that back into the real estate market, just want to understand how you protect it from that.
And one other thing, so I don't forget, really important, that they also, if they don't want to do real estate, I suggest to people, I just make a suggestion to them, they could start a business. It don't even gotta be anything crazy. It could be an online business. Sell hair, sell bundles. You know,
says
you could
sell bundles.
Yeah, you could form an LLC, put up a website, and basically buy bundles and sell that. You won't get taxed on it because now you formed a business. Correct. And you're protected under your business LLC.
Yeah. He says sell hair bundles.
Real Chicks Rock bundles.
I'm not doing you. No, don't put my name on that. Get out of here. I'm not doing that. But that's a good point, though, because we do want to raise the vibration and encourage people to create their own businesses.
And this is another plug.
Here
we'll
we go.
talk about this later. This book, my business book, I tell you how you can form your LLC and everything like that. And the new edition coming up, I am talking about a lot of business you can start under $5,000, $1,000, and $500.
Yeah, Carl, I want you guys to take a good look at Carl because he's not coming back anymore.
She's gonna have me calling from now on, but she could just mute me.
No, this is good. No, this is good stuff. No, we do want people to feel empowered and encouraged to start a business or just have multiple streams. That's really the conversation we like to have, where people have multiple streams of income, right, Donna?
And I agree with that, but I totally agree with that.
Okay.
But one of the things I found out when I did move down to the South is that there's so many people doing so many different things.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I am on my third career. But what I will say when I do speak at schools with high schools or elementary schools, it's okay to do that. But I gave at least each career 10 to 15 years.
Really?
I'm probably aging myself, but that's what I did. But when I meet people at networking events and I'm getting 5 business cards, and I typically try to sit at, it's nice meeting you card. And some of them mail come back because there is no business. Then multiple streams, you got to be serious about it. Now, some people are very talented. That's just not in my DNA. I always say if it doesn't have a roof and four doors, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like it can be multiple, but it has to all relate to real estate. But it's good. But just, I guess my point is, if you're going to have multiple streams of income, be good at it and not slump.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic too, especially in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You meet someone at the gas station and say, "What do?" He's selling carpet, weaves, do credit repair, and he's a lawyer in one shot. And he's not good at none of it.
That's my
That's
point.
that's the first thing I found when I moved down here. I was like, okay, I could get a haircut and legal advice
At the same
time.
Yeah, yeah. And he wants some money for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You gotta be careful. It's got some shiesty people, and that's everywhere. Everybody trying to get a hustle because it's an opportunity. But yeah, be serious about your multiple streams. Be committed to it. Be an expert about it. Be professional. We looking for professional.
Totally.
I got 2 professional people here. They're really serious. They early. They show up everywhere early. That's right. They're very detail oriented, very professional. They call you back. They're very responsive. I think it's just good old fashioned customer service principles that sometimes we walk away with. Even if you're just a texter talking to millennials, when somebody texts you, text them back. Yeah. You know, so just do that. If that's your
return an email.
You know, just if that's your form of communication, just be responsive on that so people can know where they're at and what they're going to do. This was really good. I had a lot of questions. I think really I wanted to make sure we covered everything from a buyer's perspective, a seller, personal and commercial. Can the average person really look into getting commercial property, or no, that's a dream?
A lot of us really not even in the game. I go to a lot of commercial events, and we're not even represented. I'm going to one this Thursday out here. One of my lenders is doing something, and I think a lot of us think we have a lot of money.
I think so. That's why I'm looking at you. Should I come? But don't even invite myself because I ain't got the portfolio. I'm thinking, I don't know.
We could get it just same way as to get in real estate. There's creative ways. Matter of fact, there's more creative ways in commercial than residential.
Come on, sir.
For example, you could see a strip mall in Decatur. I'm just going to say Decatur, right? A lot of times the owner may say, hey, you know what? I'm backed up on the taxes, or I'm going to retire, move to Florida. With commercial, he could add you into his LLC. And then you work out something with that person. Okay. You could start managing the strip mall, whatever, and then down the road, you could refinance with that LLC and get money from the bank. Okay. And now, look, you didn't have to put a down payment down because as long as you could work it out with the owner, you could get in commercial property. You could do more stuff with owner financing with commercial than residential now. And people don't even know about it. Yeah. So I said there's ways of getting in commercial real estate without having credit. Matter of fact, here's another thing. With commercial real estate, they're not as credit driven as they are residential. They're looking at the bottom line, what this property is making in terms of money and the potential. That's it.
Okay.
So someone could have bad credit, could work out something with the owner, get the property, refinance it, now own a commercial unit.
Is strip malls going away, Carl? Because of online things? Do you see that trend? Is it
The
trending
big
down?
malls, the big
ones?
malls, not the strip malls, because you know people can still drive up and go to the
Get in
deli,
and out, go real
Subway,
quickly. Right,
liquor
right.
store, get a
Okay.
little bottle, stuff like that that you're gonna do later on. That's still gonna be there.
Little nip.
Hey, go for a nip when I get a lick.
That's why I said the
Yeah.
nip part.
So you said you're round the way, cat. I'm telling you. He said get a little bottle from the liquor store.
Yeah, a nip when you get a lick.
So strip malls are not going away, but the bigger malls, they're starting to struggle a little bit, or no?
Yeah, they've been struggling for a while because when we talked about earlier, the trend is moving away from the suburbs.
Right.
And that's where the big malls was in the suburbs,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
everybody get the picket fence and the family and the dog. Now that's moving away. It's moving in town. So that's why you're seeing these work and play, lives areas
Yeah.
that you're seeing. That's now the new thing. But that's commercial, of course.
Right.
The big malls, as you see, Sears are going out of business,
Yeah.
Kmart, stuff like that.
J.C. Penney, right?
J.C. Penney,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're going away.
Yeah.
For people that are interested in just real estate in general, right? Whether they want to come in and become a broker, whether they just want to expand their personal portfolio or want to get into commercial, what kind of materials or podcasts should they be listening to or chasing after? What do you listen to, Carl?
I think yours is good
Well, thank you.
when I'm on there.
Yeah, see how he did that?
That's right. He's
messing
smooth.
with-
Smooth
I'm
operator.
not messing with Brooklyn at all.
I would just say YouTube, it got a lot of good videos of people
Okay.
with a lot of tips, a lot of articles out there. I tell people read a lot. But the main thing is to get a good mentor.
Okay.
That's
Somebody
what I
with
was gonna
experience
say.
in the game that would mentor you one-on-one. Because you can't get nothing unless that human contact.
Okay.
You could look at YouTube 1,000 times
you can read a
and
lot of
still don't know what
books.
you're doing.
Correct.
So you really want to go to someone that's a good mentor that could take you under the wing and show you this is how I do it. This is what you need to know and everything like that. And just have an open mind, just
Yeah.
ride with that person.
Okay. You have mentors, I take it, still in New York?
I am the mentor, unfortunately.
But don't you need a mentor too? Because you're still growing.
Everyone always need a mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, always. I wish I had. All right, mistakes.
Yeah.
I wish I had mentors when I came up. I was looking for one, but I never had
Okay.
one. They threw me in the water. I had to swim back
Is that
with the
right?
sharks. Yeah.
But
But that's why I
okay.
mentor people now.
Okay.
I do mentor people, but I do talk to like savvy people or high earners in the game to see what they're doing. I always feel like I'm always learning. I don't feel like I know everything.
Right.
Things are always changing. And whatever city I'm in, I talk to high people here, New York, Charlotte.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Okay. Well, you're going to mentor me, but we've talked
I
about
thought
that.
I'd been already.
Yeah, that's right. See, I was just checking to see the answer. Donna, what say you? Because you like people that are experienced that can help pour into and give advice. So your face lit up with mentor, right?
Totally
You have
agree.
some, right? At least one?
You know what? It's not that I don't. I find people just, in general, when we're talking, I do seek out people who are hard workers. That is true. But I also mentor. I started out with a young lady who was in high school, and she's deaf. Her mom found me in the magazine, and she wanted to get her real estate license, and so I kind of mentor her through that process.
Okay.
And then I mentor new realtors as well.
Yeah.
So it keeps me sharp, but at the same time, what I realized, whether I'm mentoring someone or going to speak at a school engagement, we still need to have our knives sharp too.
Yeah.
So trying to find someone who can just pour into us,
Right.
and sharpen our knives and educate us, because again, we don't know everything.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing to add, and then it's good to have a good support group
Yeah.
of other realtors and mortgage people just to talk, even if it's not your own deal. Like at one point I had 30-some real estate agents, and so now a lot of them are now their own brokers, agents, and we all talk all the time. Like they'll say, hey, I'm having this situation.
Right.
Sometimes I call them because it's no judging. Unfortunately, in this industry of real estate, we're on our own island. We can't talk to a 9-to-5 person because our lives are so different. You're literally like 1 minute could have 20,000, next minute have no money in your pocket overnight. And so it's hard to say I could go to someone and say, hey, you know, I lost this deal. I thought I was making 35,000, and that person's like, I don't care. I make that a whole year. Where I could go to another realtor and talk about it. It's no judging. They're like, wow, and they'll talk about what they did. Then you feel bad at the end of the conversation. You know. And matter of fact, what we call it in the industry is drinking ammonia. Really? Yeah, that's our buzzword. Well, someone will call me and say, hey, I'm about to drink ammonia, meaning that they to the edge and they want to drink something.
I'm still using the term. I'm ready to jump off a Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. It just had to be Brooklyn.
Brooklyn got that Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. And you not really want to do it, but you just have that feeling like I got to talk to somebody.
You're frustrated.
It could be like your deal's about to close and it's not. You got bills to pay. A buyer had jitters and want to back out the deal.
Right.
A seller we call it move the goalpost. Hey, I got you or offer $300,000. That's what you wanted. Oh, I heard I could get $330,000. And you know you can't. Right. You know, stuff like that. So I feel that you got to have a good support group, whether you're a realtor, mortgage person, investor, people that you could just talk to.
Right.
You know,
no judgment, but just can listen and kind of help you get through the process. Donna mentioned the magazine. She said that when she was talking about how she mentors. I'm gonna try to hold this up. I don't know if you guys can see the lovely and look how beautiful this woman is. This was on the cover of People You Need to Know. Talk to me a little bit about this, Donna. So you were selected to be in this beautiful magazine, and it covers you as one of somebody in Atlanta that we need to know because of your expertise
in real estate.
Real estate.
Correct. What that is it's a magazine.
Yes.
that a lot of people like to market themselves.
Okay.
And I think in any industry, and they have multiple people in there as well. You have 30%, I would say, of my income is marketing. And what they used to teach us in school is you can't be a secret agent. So if you're not willing to invest yourself in anything, whether it's marketing or getting out networking, going to seminars, and
a beautiful picture. I don't know if everyone can see it. Beautiful.
It's gorgeous, man. Go ahead.
Thank you. And that's pretty much what it is. And what I liked about the magazine is it allowed me to answer questions. What I thought people really want to know the truth about real estate.
Yeah.
There's really not a whole lot of fluff in it. It's just the real naked truth about how to meet your mark in Atlanta. And your mark, what I said in the magazine, is that interchangeably moves. Yeah. So you may have this goal here one day and something happens and you can't get frustrated. Yeah. You can, but you got to keep it on a timeline. Yeah. And then you move that mark somewhere else and you'll eventually get to it, but you have to stay on your plan.
Yeah. One thing about Atlanta I will say, because I'm coming up on my 30th year of being here. Wow. Okay. Long time. And I just believe that Atlanta has created opportunities for me that I may not have seen in New York. Okay. Or maybe I would just be coming, they would just start to present themselves now, decades later after working and this and that. So I think Atlanta is a place where if you want it, you can get it. You got to put the work in and connect yourself with the right group of people that's going to guide you through any process that you're trying to get through. One thing about being a homeowner, I've been a homeowner for almost as long as I've been here, so that's a good thing. I don't really know too much about renting. I did it for a little while here and there, then I come out and then did it one more time, and that was it. So I've been a homeowner for as long as I've been here. And sometimes nothing beats the quality of just coming home to a home, regardless of how big or small it is, because you've etched your fragrance and your style in it, and it's just really comforting. So for those people that are listening or maybe waffling or maybe a little bit undecided, I would say do the research. Correct. Definitely do the research and see if it's going to be a value add for your life. It is still a mechanism to create value and assets, right? Where you have something that can be written off, that can be properly insured, that can help you make money without you really lifting a finger because of the home equity. So if you price it, if you find it in the neighborhood that works for you, because I don't want to say the right neighborhood, in a neighborhood that works for you, and you're a person that's responsible in paying your bills and doing what you need to do, then I think it will be a reward for you in the long long term,
Oh,
right?
definitely.
I just think so. It's a
No,
buying
definitely, yeah.
chip that you can use, and it's always at your disposal. I believe.
And something you can pass on.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
legacy
Yeah.
as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of it. Get a hold of either Carl or Donna. I'll share them. You know, these people, because they know exactly what it is that you need to do and get you on the right foot and going forward. So with that, you, Mr. Bookman, tell the people how they can find you with the books and and the businesses. Hold them up one at a time.
Okay.
Show the people what you're writing on.
All right, so now these books I first came out about 10 years ago, and I updated them because, you know, we said things change a lot.
Yeah.
So now I got the Millennial Edition coming out, which is a 10-year anniversary. So in the real estate book is coming out later this year, which is going to cover first-time home buying, first-time investors, Airbnb, different careers in real estate. We talked about a lot today, but there's a lot of careers in real estate that you could do without having to put up your credit or money, anything like that, even if you're just doing like management services. And I'm also talking about commercial real estate in this book. The business book, we're talking about basically entrepreneurs, different business owners, what they did right, what they did wrong, starting an LLC, corporation, a nonprofit, getting funding, SBA loans, working capital loans, lines of credit, tax benefits of owning your own business, pros and cons. So that's going to be covered. And one main thing, too, is businesses that you could start for under $5,000, under $1,000, and under $500. We're going to talk about that with this book. Then the credit book, we're going to be talking about budgeting, which is just as important as having good credit. The algorithms, what they're doing now in terms of what you got to do for your credit, utilization, using up all your credit cards, where to have your credit card at in terms of not maxing it out, how to get the score, how to pump up your score with a few days and everything like that. We're going to talk about with this book. So this is a special I'm doing for Real Chicks Rock.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes.
We like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my Instagram is Carl Agard _ the money expert. For those of you that are watching the podcast, watching on it on Facebook, if you go on my Instagram and you add me and then send me a DM with your email, I will send you the ebooks, all 3 ebooks for free. But you gotta say that you got me on the Real Chicks Rock. So if you go on my Instagram, it's Carl Agard _ the money expert, and you get all 3 of these ebooks for free.
I got mine.
Yes.
I got mine the last time you
And
came.
my Facebook group is the 800 Credit Score Club. So also, if you want to join that also on Facebook and send me a IM, DM, IM, text.
E-I-E-I-O.
Send me an IM, and I'll also send you the ebooks. And my website, I mostly do commercial real estate financing, do small business loans, working capital lines of credit. My website is appliedservicegroup.com. And the last thing is my nonprofit. IWantMyFinancialFreedom.org is my nonprofit for financial literacy.
Man, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, he does.
But this is all tied in. I'm
It's
not
all-
like an Uber driver, plumbing.
It's all
I
in
cut your hair. It's all tied together. All tied together, guys. Yes, all tied together. Yeah, because really it's tied because listen, because you got to fix your credit
I'm not
to buy real estate.
We believe.
And then form your LLC to own your real estate. Okay, it's all tied together. And if you want my services, you either could pay me as a consultant through Applied Service Group or Good Loan, or you could go through the nonprofit and write off to your taxes. I give you both ways, so it's all tied together.
not messing with you,
I know, right?
Paul. That was cool. Listen, are the books going to be audible? What say you? Are you going to make them
No, I'm
audible?
all over the place. I'm not going to audibilize it. No, I'm all over the place. No, I'm just going to be print and ebook.
Okay.
No,
okay.
it is. I'm messing with you.
I know you are. Yeah, because again, that's where we are. You know, a lot of people listen to books on tape, in the car.
It's
and
going
that's
to be audibilized. It's going to be in Spanish and
Ooh,
Creole also.
now you showing out.
Sapase.
Now,
It's on my Haitian. Sapase. It's going to be in Creole.
now he's showing off. Tell me a little bit about the foundation.
Okay, the foundation, I launched it early this year. Basically just speaking to people, and talking about different seminars, whether it's for business or real estate,
Okay.
we find out that a lot of our people don't know the basics.
Right.
And I found out that a lot of the seminars that other people's doing is like, get rich quick tomorrow.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then people have these high expectations, and then they get discouraged and quit.
Yes.
Whereas when I do my seminars, it's, hey, this is the basics. You need to know how to run your credit, know what it is.
Yeah.
You need to know how to do a 1003 application. You need to know how to form an LLC. So the nonprofit came out of that because I found out that when I was going to schools, colleges, nonprofit churches, people just wanted the basic information
Yeah.
and take it from there.
Yeah.
And so the nonprofit basically is so that I could educate young adults on financial literacy,
Nice.
credit, but budgeting. Budgeting is
It's
very,
very important.
Very important.
Yeah, we don't like that. That's a
Yeah.
dirty word. We don't want to be on a budget.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's tough, but we got to be there. We got to
So
get there.
the last thing, the books are now going to be going through the nonprofit.
Nice.
So that people could write it off, because I want people to have this knowledge. The
I
knowledge
know.
is very important. Real estate changed our lives.
Yes, it did.
Without it, we didn't know.
Right.
So I want to give it up to tell people, hey, I don't want money be a discouragement.
Yeah.
If you need it, buy the books, write off on your taxes. If you want consultant, write off on your taxes.
Yes.
We just got to get this information.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Carl. Donna, what's going on with you, Miss on the board? Can you want to
Oh,
tell people
yes.
about the fact that
Okay.
you're on the board
Yes.
of direct? Tell them, Donna. Tell them.
In January, I was just sworn in to be on the Kennesaw Downtown Development Authority board.
Wow, it's clap. Come on.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I applied for it before I went to Haiti in December, and just kind of let it go. And in January, they called me back to do an interview, and obviously they accepted it. And so it's a 2-year commitment.
Nice.
Wow.
And what I like about it is, I live in downtown Kennesaw, so I
Nice,
already
yes.
know just by visually seeing what's going on in downtown Kennesaw. But now I'm able to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Nice. Very good.
And how it's going to impact my life, as well as the community, as well as my clients.
Right.
Wow.
Nice. Very
Wow.
nice. Congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
congrats.
How can people find you? Because I'm assuming a lot of your clients have been word of mouth,
Yes.
referrals.
Real Chick Rocks has
Yeah.
definitely been very supportive of my business.
Yes.
That she has.
Yes. Yes. Go.
Correct. I'm not as complicated. I don't have as many things to reach me. I'm pretty much Donna Hogan Real Estate on all the social media. Sells real estate. And my telephone number is 404-787-6599.
She thinks they're gonna call you too.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
That's
I
why-
mean, you pull my
that's why I
name
ain't give
up.
out mine.
Seriously, you pull my name up on Google,
Yeah.
it's gonna show. I can't be a secret agent.
Yeah,
it's
she
just what
can.
it is.
She can. Donna's been very instrumental in helping quite a few people within the house community purchase their first homes, and the experiences that they come back and relay have been wonderful because she's just been very customer focused, very detail oriented, and just took a lot of the fears out of the process. That's why I think having a good agent is key. And then afterwards they become like almost part of the family because you're very transparent in that process. There's nothing to hide. Anything that you've done financially or otherwise is going to come out on the table. And sometimes there's a story that goes along with it. Sometimes it's a sad story. Sometimes it's not. It's just, you didn't know, you made mistakes, you didn't think things would catch up with you. Sometimes people are in a situation because of divorce or life changes or sickness or whatever. And so, when you have a good person that can walk you through that process and take all of those concerns away, it helps. I think the key is you have to understand that no matter how unique your situation is, you're probably not the only one that has that particular situation. And all things that can be worked through. I think that's how you have to be optimistic about it, but you got to be willing to do the work and be transparent. And if you get a good agent, like we talked about, somebody that really knows real estate, and you do your part and come with your questions and they can answer it, I think it's going to be a win for everybody. So,
And there's no judgment. I mean, we're all, the group that she's talking about is our house music group. Everything is all in privacy.
Yeah.
I don't disclose people's personal
Nope.
information. We go out to dance. We have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
I see people that I know they're working on some things, and then when they come back to me, we're on the dance floor, and they go like, "I'm ready." Linda said we can do this.
yes. So it's good. It's almost like a doctor-patient kind of relationship that you have. So, you know, get yourself a good one. Like I said, I'm going to share Donna with you. Because, you know, I'm very happy for this platform because when I bring people like yourself here, connections are made and relationships, and people do connect with the guests that I have on the show. And I'm for that.
Everyone, keep supporting Real Chicks Rock.
Thank you.
You got to promote it. Promote it social media. Tell all your friends to log on. If you can't see it in person, go on the podcast, download it. We got to get her downloads up.
Thank you. Tell him. Yeah. I didn't even pay him to say any of that.
This is off, yeah.
That's what's up, Big C. I appreciate it. Thank you, Carl. So listen, this is my time, but I got a couple of announcements because we got a lot of things going on. Carl is going to be doing a workshop in June on my birthday, yes, where we give back financial management course. So be on the lookout for that because it's already mid-March, and so time is going by really quickly. He's a busy guy, so I got it on his calendar the last time he was on the show. So that's going to be our gift to the community for my birthday. I always want to try to do something back. So we're going to look at that, and he'll have the book so you can get to meet him in person. But we want to get your financial management in order. Ask those questions. He's going to have he's very transparent. He's going to make a lot of Brooklyn references. Just forgive him on that.
I got some Atlanta ones also.
Yeah, you know, but you know, don't hold that against him, but come through when we post it. So be present and be available for that. Also, I have a RCR annual luncheon next month. It is Saturday, April 20th at the Philip Rush Center, where we honor women that have been doing phenomenal work in the communities. We have Tamika Lowry Pugh, we also have LaTanya Moore, and we have Nikki Poche. Wonderful women. Go Google them, go search them, go see what they've done, see why they are deserving of this honor next month. We want to see you in the place. Tickets are on sale now through Eventbrite, so get at them, be in the place. Don't let that day go by and you're not in there. We want to see you in the place. It's going to be a really good time. And of course, you know, Miss Donna Hogan here is going to be a sponsor for the event.
Correct.
I'm working on this guy on the left.
That's right, sponsor I'll be.
Yeah, I got to get the sponsors. So they're going to be there. So please, please, please come and join us. We want to see you in the place. Now, you know me, I love music. I know I do. So I have strategic partnerships. Yes, and yes. So yes, I partner with Hot Ice Lyve, and so we got a couple of shows that are coming in the pipeline. We're almost sold out. I think we're almost sold out for the one that's coming up this Saturday with Philippia Williams. It is the Shaka Khan tribute. It's at Veckman's. Doors open at 9:30. It's going to be an awesome show. If you've not gotten your ticket yet, again, they're selling out. We're almost sold out. Last thing I heard, we're almost sold out. So you might want to jump on that and get on that and make sure you're in the place because there's only one Shaka Khan, you know, so you're going to know every one of the songs. You're going to love it. We're going to have a great time. And then we're also starting to get some vibration on our next show in April, which is the Nina Simone Billie Holiday tribute. That's awesome. So if you got any inkling of jazz, if you want to just slow it down, have a nice drink, be mellow, just sing along and feel the vibe of that show, you need to be in the place. That's on Sunday, April 14th. Doors open for that at 7 p.m. So again, partnerships, it's all about being strategic. I am everywhere. I am. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I got the website. Go check us out. Today, yeah, people said, I need shirts. Well, we got the shirts. I brought them here as a reminder. You want these shirts? Go on the website, realchicksrock.com. Order your shirts today. We got some new ones that are coming in the pipeline. I had a wonderful time, guys.
Me too.
This was great.
Yeah. This was fun.
This was fun.
It goes so fast also every time.
You think so?
It does go fast.
It goes like that when you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm ready for the Shaka Khan tribute.
You ready? You better be in the place.
I feel for you.
Don't.
All right, I ain't gonna sing.
I didn't want you to be trying to sing.
That's a karaoke show.
That's a karaoke. And I like karaoke. I don't do enough of it. But yes, that's my time. Thank you, my wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Until next time, you guys take care and continue to rock on. Bye.
Real Chick Rock.